Today I'm going to introduce you to 30 of the easiest to grow, most abundant foods here in Florida. We're talking about the survival garden, starting your own food forest to break free from the grocery store and the global industrial food system. Some of these plants, if you planted just a small handful, could provide 70 to 80% of your caloric needs. Others are powerful nutrient powerhouses, useful medicinally or for general health. And others are just crazy, abundant, easy-to-grow plants to feed your family or share with your community. So, let's dive right in. This first plant is one of my absolute favorites. This is yucca or cassava. If you want to eat from your garden and break free from the grocery store, grow this plant. It produces large tubers, like potatoes, but twice as calorically dense and delicious. You can boil, mash, or dehydrate them to make flour for tortillas or flatbreads. Cassava handles drought conditions and flooding conditions. It's a very resilient plant. As a bonus, the leaves are edible. Cook them properly, so do some research. You can eat the leaves like greens, use them in soups and stews, and they're nutritious. This next plant is a personal favorite of mine for salads and stir-fries. This is katuk, and it has its own unique flavor and nutrient profile. One thing I love about katuk is that it grows well in the shade. If you've got a shady spot in your yard, katuk might just thrive there. You can eat the leaves raw in salads, adding a nice crunch and flavor, or cook them in soups and stews. It's a versatile plant and a great addition to any survival garden. Who doesn't love fresh berries? This is the dwarf ever-bearing mulberry, a fantastic addition to any food forest, especially for smaller spaces. This powerhouse produces berries for months and sometimes multiple times a year. The berries are delicious, sweet, juicy, and packed with nutrients. As a dwarf variety, it's perfect for community and front yard gardens. Native mulberry. This is the native variety of mulberry. If you've got the space, plant at least one. It produces larger, sweeter berries than the dwarf variety and is nematode resistant, which is crucial in Florida. This tree grows quickly and is great for early establishment in a food forest. You can eat the berries fresh, make jams and jellies, or dry them for later use. Sweet potato. Let's talk about a true powerhouse, the sweet potato. Everybody loves sweet potatoes, right? They're high in calories, important when growing your own food, and more nutritious than regular potatoes. Did you know both the tubers and greens are edible? That's right, you can eat the leaves like spinach. A typical garden bed can yield about 40 pounds. That's a lot of food. Longevity spinach. For a reliable source of greens year-round, try longevity spinach. This perennial spinach produces all year in Florida and covers the ground, keeping weeds down. Great for salads, stir-fries, or any way you like your spinach. It's called longevity spinach for a reason, packed with nutrients. Okinawa spinach. Here's another fantastic spinach variety, Okinawa spinach. This one is a prolific producer and can grow year-round in Florida. It can be cold-sensitive but often comes back after a cold snap. It's got vibrant purple leaves that add a splash of color to your garden, and it's super easy to grow. Rosemary. Moving on from leafy greens, let's talk about herbs. When it comes to resilient, easy-to-grow herbs, rosemary tops the list. This hardy herb can grow into large hedges, providing a constant supply of fresh rosemary. Use it fresh or dried. It's known for its medicinal properties too. Southern pea, also known as Seminole pea or cowpea. This plant is a delicious, nutritious food source and a nitrogen fixer, improving your soil. This is the southern pea, also known as the Seminole pea or cowpea. It's a great ground cover, and the peas can be eaten fresh or dried for storage. For all you oregano lovers out there, this one's for you. This is Cuban oregano, and it's got a flavor similar to Greek oregano, but with something extra special. It's good for garnishing, cooking, and even juicing. Plus, it's one of those easy-to-grow plants that thrives in the Florida climate. This next basil variety is different from your typical Italian basil. This is African blue basil, a favorite among pollinators. It's got a unique flavor, not quite like Italian basil, but it's appreciated for its own unique taste. If you're looking for a reliable producer of pumpkins, consider the Seminole pumpkin. This heat-tolerant variety produces abundantly in Florida, and the pumpkins can be stored for up to a year. The Seminole pumpkin has a flavor similar to butternut squash and can be used in various recipes. This plant is a staple food in many cultures, and for good reason. This is the pigeon pea, also known as gandules. These peas are a great source of protein and can be stored for years. You can eat them fresh, dried, or ground into flour. For all you ginger lovers out there, you need to try galangal ginger. This ginger is often used in Thai curries and is very hardy. Once you get it established in your garden, it can last for years and years. This one might come as a surprise to some of you. This is the nopal cactus, and yes, you can eat it. This spineless cactus can be eaten raw or cooked and is a staple in Mexican cuisine. It's a very productive plant and can provide a lot of food. This next plant is often called tree spinach, and it's a powerhouse of nutrients. This is chaya. Note that chaya contains cyanide and must be cooked before eating. Once cooked, it's safe and nutritious. It grows easily from cuttings and can produce an abundance of greens. Who doesn't love a juicy papaya? This tropical fruit is not only delicious but also packed with vitamins and minerals. While it requires care to grow, the reward is worth it. You can eat papaya ripe or green, and it's used in various dishes around the world. Turmeric is well known for its anti-inflammatory properties, and you can grow it right here in Florida. This vibrant plant is quite productive in our climate and can be used fresh or dried. Add it to soups, smoothies, or grind it into a powder. If you're looking for a low-maintenance tomato, try the Everglades tomato. This small but mighty tomato is a volunteer plant that returns yearly. It has a strong, robust flavor and can spread widely, so give it space. This next one isn't technically edible, but it's so beneficial for your garden that it deserves a spot on this list. This is Tithonia, also known as the Bolivian sunflower or Mexican sunflower. This plant is fantastic for building walls in your garden, adding carbon to the soil and attracting pollinators. Lemongrass is a favorite in many cuisines, and it's surprisingly easy to grow here in Florida. Use it for tea, in soups, or your favorite curry recipe. This plant really proliferates, so you'll have plenty to share with friends and neighbors. This next plant is versatile. This is sorrel, also known as roselle. Use the leaves to make refreshing tea or eat them fresh. It's a great summer crop here in Florida and adds a tangy flavor to your dishes. Now this one is more for practical use than eating. This is luffa, and it's what you use to grow natural sponges. While some varieties are edible, most people grow loofah for the sponges, which can be composted after use. This next plant is both nutritious and highly medicinal. This is Biden's alba, also known as Spanish needle. You can eat the leaves and the flowers, and it's a great attractor of beneficial insects. Elderberry is a favorite for making delicious syrup, but it's also a fantastic plant for building fence lines in your garden. You can use the flowers to make elderflower champagne or jam, and the berries themselves are packed with powerful antioxidants. This next plant is often called the vitamin tree, and for good reason. This is Moringa, one of the most nutrient-dense plants on the planet. You can eat the leaves fresh, dried, or ground into powder. It's a true superfood. Here's another great kale variety that thrives in Florida. This is East African kale, also known as Ethiopian kale or amara. It's got a mild flavor, and the best part is it keeps coming back. Perfect for salads and cooking. This spinach variety has been a staple in cultures for thousands of years. This is Molokia, also known as Egyptian spinach. It's incredibly nutritious and used in a variety of dishes. This amaranth variety is not only beautiful, but it's also a great source of nutrition. This is the Hopi red dye amaranth. It produces edible seeds, and the leaves are also edible. Plus, it self-seeds, so you'll have plenty to share. And last but not least, we have the daikon radish. This radish is great for eating, but it's also fantastic for your garden. It helps to aerate the soil and can be used to make delicious sauerkraut. So there you have it, 30 of the easiest to grow, most abundant foods here in Florida. This is how you can start your survival garden or your very own food forest. I really want to help you get started. I spent a year growing and foraging all my food, and I want you to break free from the grocery store. I've created the Food Forest Starter Bundle with all these plants from cuttings or seeds. Make a donation and we'll send you this to start your food forest. Your donations fund our food sovereignty initiatives, helping community gardens and schools. You get your plants, help our initiatives, and break free from the grocery store.